I think Joey loves to wind people up. I know he likes me, but I think he loves to wind other people up and play games in that sense.
Respect.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Hi everyone. I need to say something. It's just a reminder. If you've been here a while, then you know this is our theme on my channel. I have always said I will never say anything negative about these people unless I am calling out their behavior. I will never give them, nicknames or call them anything out of character because I don't know them as people. I don't know these participants. I watch a lot of reality TV because for me, that's a way of distressing from my stressful job. And when I come here, I want positivity. This is why I don't engage in negativity. When I say Mimi, this is a script from the producers. It's because this is a theme. Love Island USA was being sued because of the way they treated Serenity, a black woman. We also how they treated Destiny last season. We also what happened with Serena. So 1 minute she's screaming and shouting across the villa. The next minute she's eating humble pie and she's the sweetest thing ever. The same thing happened with Catherine. The same thing happened with Tanya. So make it make sense. The same thing happened with Zara. Some people are Teflon. People like Jess, people like Olivia, whether they're portrayed negatively or positively, they can bounce from it. Whereas people like Catherine, people like Mimi, people like Tanya, it's very difficult. Even Serenity, it's very difficult. She on her season, she still couldn't recover. She's now back to, I think, her old job because of the labels and how people are portrayed on TV. It's never a situation whereby you see, a woman of color go onto a reality TV, meet someone, have a loving relationship that doesn't have a negative spin. And so when I say this doesn't make sense, it does not make sense. Mimi, for the past 5-6 weeks, she was quiet as a church mouse. When Ayo was treating her like crap, we barely saw her. And suddenly, because she's now in a loving or caring relationship with someone who's very emotionally mature, someone who's empathetic, someone who's compassionate, someone who's understanding, someone whose world revolves around Mimi, we are now being shown a negative light. And you say, oh, it's because Mimi's suddenly turned. What has changed about her outside of the fact that she's not with Ayo and she's now with Josh? What has changed? If Josh was treating her the same way that Ayo treated her, I'm willing to bet anything, her storyline would have remained the same. Should have remained the boring person who just sits in a corner and doesn't do anything or say anything. So when I say the producers, it's because I've watched a lot of reality TV to say, if it walks like a duck and looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, then it must be a duck. There's no other two ways about it. We can try and say, oh no, it's not the producers. Why all this time has she not behaved in such a manner? Ayo brought a whole human being from Casa and she didn't say anything. She sat in the corner and cried. Yeah, Josh maybe touched a nerve when he kissed Grace and she had to kiss Ayo, but still she wasn't vocal or she didn't do anything inappropriate. So for me, I don't get this. And why is she getting so much flack suddenly for kissing Ayo when we all saw Ayo when he kissed Uma after she said she didn't want anything to do with him and she was moving on to Will? If what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's my opinion. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 11, Episode 39. I'm trying to find my empathy button, but I can't find it because I'm not buying the tears from Nicole. Let's not pretend. Let us not pretend. Even a blind man could see this coming. We all knew who was being dumped. There's no way Kieran was going to dump Ayo because that's his friend and they're day ones. And there's no way that Nicole was going to dump Grace. Even if they don't get along, I don't think the producers would have allowed her to dump Grace. So it was a given that Konnor and Lola were going home. She didn't connect with anyone. And with Konnor, they were just forcing it. It was being forced. There wasn't a spark there. And sadly, Konnor is one of those islanders who came in, spent a lot of time in the villa, but was unable to spark a connection with anybody at all because Emma used him and he knows that. Jess used him to stay in the villa. Grace used him to make Joey jealous. So all he was a puppet amongst the girls for them to sort of pick up and drop wherever they wanted. So it's sad, But hey, it is what it is. Lola, shame. This is not the show for her. I think she should have gone on the show like Love is Blind. I think she's past. Well, at 30, I don't think Love Island has the type of guys that should be looking for. Love is Blind, yes. Married at First Sight, yes. But Love Island, nah. It's not. It's not. Anyway, they're told that they've been dumped, and then Nicole starts crying, and it's like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? If you want, you can change your mind. Why didn't you change your mind if you didn't want to save Konnor home? Since you say he's one of the nicest people, you should have changed your mind and sent somebody else home. It's okay. It is what it is. You then have everybody sort of console them, but you could tell Lola and Konnor were at peace with being sent home because they knew that none of the other two couples was going to be sent home. So they were told by Maya Jama that it's time for you to leave. You're not going back to the villa. And it's like, this is a bit brutal. I think if you know that you're in the bottom, if you know that you're one of the least sort of well-connected couples, then it's best to always say goodbye whenever you're told you're going on a field trip, because this is how it seems. I'm surprised that they only dumped one couple. I would have expected them to dump two because there's way too many people in the villa since they've just brought in another couple. And the audacity for Nicole to say, oh, I think Ayo still has feelings for Mimi. It's like, please. This man is shouting it at the rooftops. Mimi has shouted this at the rooftops, regardless of the storyline that we're being taken down. Why do we keep talking about a connection? These people are with somebody else. Let us allow them to be with those people. If they leave those people, fine. If they don't, it is what it is. Hey, anyway, all the islanders come back to the villa and they're sort of reminiscing. They're missing Konnor and Lola. And it's like, oh my God, what is it now? What is it now? Let us just move on to the next topic. And so the Bombshells, Harry and Lola, what's her name? Lolly. Yeah, Lolly. They go downstairs to sleep and everybody else sleeps upstairs. Obviously, those in their happy couples are making out. Ruben and Grace are not in good books, it seems. So they're lying on opposite ends of the bed at the moment. So in the morning, you have the islanders wake up. They go into debriefs and it's like, why do we need a debrief? Why do we need a debrief at all? I thought we agreed that we were stopping this. More or less, the main thing discussed was the new Bombshells and who's interested in them. And Joey seems interested in Lola. And Harry, he's saying he wants to try and graft Grace, and it's like, well, she's the only one you can graft actually, because everybody else is tied down. This is the home stretch. I don't even know why they brought you in. They should have kept you for next season. So it doesn't make sense unless they want to bring them on All Stars. You have, Jessie with a Y. I've seen a side of her that initially we didn't get to see. I don't know whether it's just me. Can everybody else observe? She's becoming what she criticized the girls for being at the start when she came in. Because Grace was very hostile towards her when she came in, and yet she has been the same. She did that to Lola, because she said to Lola, why did you tell Joey that he's changed since he coupled up with me? And she's doing the same thing to Lola or Lolly, the new girl, whoever, she's just come in. And it's like, why are you being a mean girl when you were treated meanly when you walked in and you didn't like it until you had a confrontation with Grace to sort of say, what is going on here? So why are you doing exactly the same thing that you criticize? And for you to have the audacity to say, I'm not threatened. If he wants me, he has to tell me. If he doesn't want me, he has to. And it's like, you are threatened. If you are not threatened, you wouldn't be saying anything. You have Ruben be pulled for a chat by the new bombshell Lola. I'll call her Lola. I don't know until I get her name. Well, she's more or less grafting him, because I think she realizes that all the other guys are taken. Because who else can she graft? Ayo. Well, I haven't seen Ayo sort of turn his head towards someone who looks like her. So the only option she has is Ruben, because Kieran is going to say he's shut down. Joey wants her, but is afraid of Jessie with a Y. Who else? That's it. So she has a conversation with Ruben, and Ruben is 23, she's 22, and so they seem to get along. He tells her he's an account manager. He used to be a professional football player, and I don't know. Ruben doesn't really seem enticed. He really doesn't seem interested. I think he's just looking at her and he's just thinking she's a TikToker, an Instagram model. That's all she is. I don't think she's here for a proper relationship, which I'm not surprised by. Even Grace, when she has a conversation with Harry, you can see that she's just humoring him. She's really not there. So Harry asks her, are you into PDA? Because that's my love language. And she went, oh no, I'm a slow burner. It's just with Joey, we had a history. This is why. It's like, well, with Joey, Joey, you just saw him and you jumped into the hideaway. So please sit down. There's no slow burner here. Just say you're waiting for a guy, or you don't want to be known as the girl who went on Love Island and slept her way through her couples. That's my opinion of her. Anyway, you have Jesse with a Y speak to Jess S, and they're sort of discussing and trying to eavesdrop because Joey pulls, instead of being pulled, he pulls Lola for a chat. And it's like Joey really likes the attention. He is a producer plant, as everyone has called him, because it doesn't make sense, some of the drama that he creates. The fact that he was telling her, oh, I have a lot in common with you, I have this, that, and the other. And it's like, why are you flirting with her? Why are you encouraging it? Yes, you say you're not closed off. Why not let her graft you instead of you grafting her? And so you can see that Jess is starting to feel agitated because she initially thought that she had Joey on lock, and I think she's realized that Joey will always be a free spirit. I remember someone in my comments, sorry, I didn't get your name, saying that, oh, you're saying the producers, why are you saying the producers are making Mimi do this? And for me, I stand on it. I've watched too much reality TV to know that producers have a lot of sway on the storylines that are played out. And I remember I watched a TV show before whereby they were sort of pretending to be The Bachelor and sort of giving a behind the scenes view of what the producers did and how they manipulated the contestants into doing certain things. So you have Ayo pull Mimi for a chat. Why? We don't know. Mimi was just there like she's just listening to someone waffle. I don't know why people say Mimi is interested in Ayo. In that conversation, Ayo did most of the talking and she was just humming and ahang. And I think when she said, oh, we had a connection, it was good, I don't know whether we're supposed to explore it, because they don't understand why they keep being asked to sort of have these conversations, and they're not sure, in my opinion, they're not sure whether they're being encouraged to have these conversations because the producers want them to rekindle whatever they had or not, and this is where they are. I don't think it's Mimi saying, oh, we had this connection, so I still think we need to explore. I don't think she wants to explore it. I think she moved on the day she connected with Josh, and she hasn't looked back. From the moment she sat him down and called him bro, that was it. Because even after this chat, she said, thank you for coming to for listening to my TED talk, and off she went. She could barely care. Her body language, the way she was listening, and she was just humming, yes, you could tell she wasn't in it. And he kept saying, maybe we understand each other, we just need to clarify it for everybody else. And it's like, I think, and Mimi said for the people in the back, they all know, the four of them, what's going on, regardless of what's going on. I feel like they all know. If they don't know, they have an inkling. Jessica, I think, is the only person who's on the outskirts, because Ayo's not, we're not shown him telling her what's happening. Mimi will download after every conversation she has with Ayo. She goes to Josh, and she'll download word for word what happened. Because after she finished the conversation with Ayo, she went to Josh and they sat down, and Josh was saying, how was your chat? And she's sort of telling him that, it was just a repetition of the same thing that we've discussed, that it just needed to be clarified. And they both know where they stand. This is the difference in the couples and their communication styles. Mimi is very quiet. She's non-confrontational, but she has always kept Josh informed. She might not tell him every single detail of what she's doing, but she's always kept him. He's known the headline of whatever's happening and the subheadings. He might not know every single word in the conversation, but he has known, and she's made it a point to make sure that he is aware of what's happening. And because they created this friendship, I think, and she doesn't seem to trust any of the girls, I think she has to go to Josh for a lot of things, and especially when she needed to go to the terrace, I think this is why she solicited Joey, because she couldn't trust one of the girls to do it, and because she was worried that they might run back and sort of put it in a different way to Jessica, which was bound to happen. Ayo sits down and is talking to Jessica and is saying to her, I don't even think about going home. I think about, being here, enjoying my time with you. So, I'm happy that we're still here. And it's like, maybe tell her what you discussed with Mimi, as she asked you before, what was said. Maybe do what Mimi did to Josh. Maybe keep her in the loop. That way she knows exactly what's going on with you and her and Mimi and Josh, because they're all involved in the situation. This will stop a lot of hearsay from everybody else coming in and adding their own 2 pence. But Ayo is not a great communicator, so I'm not surprised that she didn't say anything to her. Love Island and these messy games, I don't even know how they come up with them. So in this one, at least it's ice cubes. So they had an ice cube, they had a bowl of ice cubes. So they were passing an ice cube from one person to the other. At least it was a bit long. By the time it melted, obviously, that was a different story. And everyone, if you drop the ice cube, then you'd have to answer a question. And the sitting plan was ox galore. It was ox galore. It was ox. It was, I think it kept rotating, the sitting chat, but it still was uncomfortable because you had the likes of Joshua sitting in between Jess and Grace, and then you had Mimi sat between Sean and Joey, and it's like, why punish her? Why really? Why punish her like that? Anyway, so first up was Jessie with a Y. She dropped her ice, and so she, well, I think she was next to Josh or someone. Someone didn't want to bump lips with her, and they quickly threw the ice at her. So hers was Snog the Islander you think is playing games in the villa, and she kissed Joey and said, he likes to wind out people. Do I think that was the reason? No. I think she wanted to mark her territory, and she wanted to let Lola know that he is my guy and we're in sync. So I don't know. So Kieran dropped his ice next. His was, other than your partner, snog the person you have most sexual chemistry with. And he snogged Matilda, and he said that's because of her face. I think he looked for the thing least likely to get him in trouble with Nicole, so he went for Nicole's friend. That's my opinion, because I don't see any other reason behind it. And then Joey had the snog 3 islanders for face, personality, and body. This created a lot of havoc in Zara's season because she kicked off when Tom kissed somebody else. Anyway, Joey just ran with it. He kissed Jess. So Ayo's Jess for face. He kissed his own Jess with a Y for personality, and then he kissed Matilda for body. And it's like, maybe you should have swapped it around. Jess has a great body, in my opinion. Lola was next. She was asked, kiss an islander you fancy the most, and then she went for Ruben. I think she went for Ruben because of the situation with Jessie with a Y. I think after Jessie with a Y marked her territory, she was afraid to go for Joey, even though Joey had been pushing for her to pick him. Sean was sitting next to Mimi. So when Mimi went to give him the ice, he actually dropped it on purpose, and you could tell Mimi wasn't happy because of the way he made it seem like he was trying to drop the ice so that he could kiss her. I think Mimi's one off, or the only girl in the villa he hasn't kissed, and so he's trying to have his way with all the girls. Anyway, Sean's card said, snog the islander, that's not your partner. Who you think would be great in bed? And he went for Lola, and it's like, make it make sense. And then he says, obviously she's the new girl, and it's like, this is why I said on Twitter, Sean, he's an apprentice, was it at an apprenticeship school? Because all these girls have taught him how to kiss. All these girls have taught him how to flirt, and now he thinks he's the man. Anyway, I digress. So Josh's was kiss the islander who you think is the most arrogant. He went for Nicole, and I think he went for Nicole because he knew Mimi wouldn't be offended if he kissed Nicole, and he actually laughed about it. Nicole laughed about it. Kieran laughed about it, and he went, "Oh, we're and he said, you are arrogant, just like your partner. So the two of you work well together." And Kieran was like, "Oh, people are saying that because everybody wants to be here till the very end." And it's like, he didn't mean any harm. He could have said worse things, but he just said it in a joking way because this is who he is. Next up is Lola. She picks one that says snog the islander most likely to cheat, and she goes and kisses Joey. And Jessie with a Y, I don't like her mean girl spirit. It's not for me. Maybe it's just me just picking up on it. Everybody else is not. Because for her to say that, oh, well, I know better. I know he doesn't cheat. And he even said, oh, I don't cheat. And it's like, we saw you in 4K going from Samantha to Grace. So what do you call that? Because you hadn't broken things off with Samantha. Yes, you were not official, but still, you hadn't broken things off with Samantha. So please take several seats. We are not here for this mess. Grace, if that makes Jessie, if that makes you sleep better at night, good for you. And then Ayo picks one that says, kiss the islander you think would do anything to make it to the final. And he kisses Nicole. Do I think he's right? Yeah, I think so. I think Nicole is very strategic. I think Nicole is throwing fits to get attention, to have airtime. And I think Nicole, right from the jump, when she realized that Kieran was Welsh like her, she decided to go for him because she knew they could get the population and the voters behind them. So I agree with that. At that one, I don't question. Kieran was then asked, how do you feel about it? And he said, I'll speak to Ayo later. So they will speak, and it is what it is. And then Josh was asked, nibble the ear of the islander who you think spreads the most gossip. And he nibbled Matilda. And one thing I love is some people are good at standing on business, and Josh is one of those. And he said, when Ayo, Mimi, and I were going through our crap, she was spreading rumors, and I heard something that I really didn't like, and that could have made things worse. And I think the thing that was spread was when she told Jess that, Mimi is saying we have feelings, but we have to be careful because we don't want to hurt Ayo and we don't want to hurt Jess, so we have to put our feelings aside. And I think this is what he was talking about, because he was upset, Jess was upset about that, and that was not a good look. And for her to say, I like gossip, well, I love that she wears it like a badge of honor. It is what it is. Harry's the last one, and he picks one that says, Snog the islander you chat to outside, and he kisses Grace. Well, surprise, no. Grace is the only single girl. If he had kissed somebody else, then it would make sense. He's being strategic. He's trying to sort of lay his claim or turn Grace's head. So I'm not surprised by that. Anyway, that's the end of the game. It was a cute game, though. I actually liked it. So you have Sean go and sit down with Matilda because Matilda is in her feelings about the fact that Sean kissed Lola, the new girl. And he's pretending to play dumb. Sean came in smarter than people gave him credit for. I'm now convinced that he was playing a character from day one. He was trying to sell his sweets. This is why he kept giving different names to the girl, so that people would know that he has more than just the normal over-the-counter sweets. That's my opinion. And so for him to pretend like, I didn't kiss her, I just, knew I didn't have history with her. And he made it seem like if he kissed her, you wouldn't get in trouble. Whereas with anybody else, there might be a misunderstanding. And it's like, Sean, don't say that. You said you kissed her because she was a new girl, and you've kissed every girl in the villa. So this was your aim. I think the only girl, as I've said before, that he hasn't kissed is Mimi. And this is where he is, and he needs to own it with his full chest. You have Jessie sit down for a chat with Lola because Lola calls her for a chat. And Jess is very patronizing. I'm sorry, Jess with a Y. She is very patronizing. I am seeing a side of her that I don't like. And every time Joey chats to anyone, you can actually see that side, that she's got this mean side, this sort of superiority that she practices, whereby she thinks she's better than everybody else. For her to then go and sit down with Joey and say, Joey, you need to make it clear to this young lady because I don't want her to get the wrong impression. It's like, what would her reason be for lying? She's told you the truth of what's happened during her conversation with Joey. It's either you believe it or you don't. You have Grace and Samantha living testimony of how Joey can move messy, and yet you're convinced that you think you're the one who's going to change him. Good luck to you. She calls Joey, they sit down, they talk, and Joey's like, no, I just wanted to talk to her. And it's like, why would you want to talk to her? Why would you want to hear what she has to say if you don't feel like there's a connection there, or if you don't feel like there's anything there? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And I don't know. She's going to cry. Joey's going to make a fool of Jessie with a Y, and I'm going to be here for it. Because when he starts cheating on her, she's going to realize that actually he is not the man that she thought he was. You have Lola sit down for a chat with Grace and Mimi, and she's saying that I had a conversation with Jess with a Y, and I told her that Joey and I, when we had our conversation, it was very flirty, and I just wanted to give her a heads up so that she knows. And you can see that Grace understands it and believes it. She's not living in La La Land like Jessie. She's been through the Joey School of Excellence, so she knows how messy he can be. So this is why she's not buying anything he's selling. It's a pity he's managed to sell whatever it is to, his partner, and his partner is going to cry and is going to learn the truth of how not to, go blindly and belittle other people. So the islanders go to get ready, and people are just talking and thinking, what are we going to do? The guys are asking Ruben, what's your plan? Do you think Grace is her head is going to turn, or do you think she's going to stay with you? And he says he doesn't know, and Joey starts laughing. Joey likes the drama, and he likes the mess that is him and Grace, and so he'll do anything and everything just to get attention. I'm not buying that mess. Anyway, you then have the girls are sort of talking about the fact that Joey said he was open and what's going to happen. And after everybody's had their drinks. You have Grace sit at the fire pit with Jesse with a Y and Jess, and they're sort of talking about Lola and what Lola said. And I don't get why. Jesse with a Y continues to be patronizing and continues to sort of make light of the comments that are being made by, Joey. She's assuming that Joey's telling her the truth. Joey lied to Samantha to her face. He played games. He played games in Grace's face that somebody had a history with. So what makes you think you're so special? What makes you think he won't lie to you? I don't get it. You then have, Harry pull Jesse with a Y for a chat, and it's like, oh my god, Joey's intimidated. I don't think any girl who's coupled up with Joey would want to give up on Joey, even if it doesn't work or they know it's not going to work, just because this is mileage that they're getting for when they leave the villa. They get to talk about this for eternity, and they'll get paid by bloggers and gossip magazines who want to know about Joey and what happened, during their time in a couple in the villa. So she was very dismissive and really didn't give any indication that she was interested in that poor Harry. And it's like, this is too late. The producers were messy. They should have kept these people for the next season, or just send them home, or send them somewhere, in Spain on holiday. You then have Grace and Jesse with a Y sit down with Ayo and Joey, and they're sort of asking him, why did you tell, Lola that you're open? Because now you give someone the wrong impression. She is new here. She doesn't know you, and she doesn't know how you move. So, she might actually take you seriously. When Lola comes out of wherever she was coming from, he calls her, and then he starts asking Lola, what is being said? And it's like, Joey, don't be a mess. Don't be a mess. Joey loves the attention. He loves creating the drama. He loves creating the toxicity. And this is mileage for him that he's going to talk about and add to his celebrity once he leaves the villa. So Sean receives the text message for the islanders to gather around the fire pit, and it's revealed that, Harry and Lola are going to have to steal one islander. And it's like, oh my God. Suddenly, Jess has gone from being overconfident to being very nervous, and she's panicking that she's going to be dumped. And it's like, but you were saying with your full chest that no one will steal Joey from you. You and him are secure. Why are you panicking? Why are you mumbling? Why are you sort of shifting all over the place? You said it with your full chest. Sit down and bear whatever comes to light. Anyway, Harry goes first. He talks about Grace. She is my type. In the outside, I would ask her out, so I've decided to choose Grace. And it's like, the producers know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, because it doesn't make sense. Why are we having a recoupling now? Why are we, bringing in Bombshells towards the very end, and we don't bring people that are likely to make a dent in whatever connections are there? Anyway, so he picks Grace. Grace, well, she was holding on to Ruben for dear life. I don't know whether suddenly things have changed between the two of them. And so she went and she stood next to him. I think he lost her when he said he's from Birmingham. That's just my opinion. And then Lola is next up. She wants to couple up with a guy who's made her feel welcome and comfortable in the villa. And it's like, Joey Essex is the one. And for him to say to Jesse, trust me, it's like, what deal did you make with the producers, Joey? What deal did you make? I have a feeling she's not going to pick Joey. I think she doesn't like the mess, so she's going to end up picking Ruben. I think the producers just wanted to make things a bit mucky and sort of bring the drama, because they were facing a lot of backlash for some of the drama they had last week. And so I think this is why they've brought in these two people, because it doesn't make sense. I think the new girl Lola would be better off with Sean, but the problem is Sean has settled himself to Matilda, and it's too late for him to jump ship. I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 38. Bye guys.